Thanks for joining us. We're going to start this morning at the Vatican, where mourners are saying their final goodbyes to Pope Francis ahead of his funeral. Tens of thousands of worshipers from across the globe have come to the Vatican this week, waiting in line for hours to pay their respects. Today is the third and final day that his body lies in state in St. Peter's Basilica.
American Cardinal Kevin Farrell will preside over a ceremony later today to seal the Pope's coffin. That will mark the end of public viewing. World leaders are set to attend Pope Francis's funeral tomorrow. That includes President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky. NBC News international correspondent Claudio Lavanga joins us now. He's at the Vatican with the latest. Claudio, good morning. It has been so moving to see just how many people are showing up to pay their respects as the Pope lies in state. Talk about what the atmosphere is like there. And do we know how many mourners have visited St. Peter's so far?
Joe, Savannah, good morning. Well, absolutely. I was just down there in St. Peter's Square half an hour ago, and there is a very long line of people waiting for their opportunity to get inside St. Peter's Basilica to bid farewell to Pope Francis. As you mentioned, today is the last day, but also today is a national holiday here. It is Liberation Day from Nazi fascism, so the people have their day off. So probably a lot of people waited for today for their opportunity to pay their respects. Now, this morning, as of this morning, the Vatican said that so far, since Wednesday morning, 128,000 people have bid farewell here to Pope Francis, but I do expect the number to go up significantly throughout the day, especially because people are coming here to make sure they do that before St. Peter's Basilica closes in about 7 hours from now, ahead of that ritual of the closing of the coffin and ahead of tomorrow's funeral, of course. Joe?
Claudio, let's talk about the funeral preparations are underway. We mentioned that an American cardinal, his name's Kevin Farrell, will be presiding over a ceremony later today that's to seal the Pope's coffin. Tell us about what happens next and then what we know about the upcoming service.
Well, Savannah, later today at 8 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, a number of cardinals will preside over the ritual of the closing of the coffin. As you mentioned, the American Cardinal Kevin Farrell, who's the Chamberlain of the Catholic Church, will preside that. But also we noticed that among the very short list of cardinals who will have the privilege to be there is also Roger Mahony, the former Archbishop of Los Angeles, who in 2013 was accused of mishandling cases of sexual abuse by priests while he was in charge. Now, Mahony has apologized for that, but still he was allowed to carry out his public ministry as cardinal, and as such, he also took part in the 2013 conclave that elected Pope Francis, even though there were many calls for him to recuse himself. Now, we asked the Vatican said that he's in there. He's among the very restricted number of cardinals who take part in this privileged closing of the coffin tonight, because he's the most senior cardinal priest. So unless Cardinal Mahony recuses himself from tonight, he will be part of it, and it will be, you can say, controversial, because obviously he will take part of the closing of a coffin for Pope Francis, who's been fighting throughout his pontificate exactly against behavior like that. Savannah, Joe?
Claudio, the Vatican released a computer-generated image of what Pope Francis's tomb might look like. It's currently being prepared in the Basilica of St. Mary Major. Tell us about this tomb and just how it reflects his time as Pope.
Hey, Joe, it looks like a very simple tombstone. It's a very small tombstone made of marble that comes from the northern Italian region of Liguria. That is where the Pope's grandparents migrated from to Argentina. So it's kind of back to his roots for the Pope. And also, there is a simple inscription of it that says Franciscus, and that, of course, reflects the humble nature of Pope Francis. And these are all things that the Pope Francis has said that he wanted his tomb to look like in his final testament that the Vatican released just a few days ago. Joe, Savannah?
Claudia, we know that the Vatican does keep things pretty confidential, though we're getting some good information about certain things. But what about conclave? Anything disclosed publicly yet, quickly?
Well, we don't have any information yet, and as of when it will start. We know that the conclave should start 15 to 20 days after the Pope's death. Now, they haven't announced the date yet, and probably they'll wait after the funeral. You have to take into consideration also that all this, they need to wait for all the cardinals to gather here to Rome. Not everyone is here. And also, these are cardinals that come from all over the world, and some of them have never really met each other. So they need time first to get to know each other, and then probably we'll hear about a date next. But tomorrow, in the meantime, we're going to have a funeral where at least 130 international delegations, the Vatican said, including 50 heads of state, including Donald Trump, of course, will be here in Rome. And I'll show you what some of the Roman newspapers say. Il mondo a Roma. It says the world in Rome. And that's exactly what tomorrow is going to happen here behind me in St. Peter's Square, guys.
All right, Claudio, thank you so much. And you can tune in to NBC News now at 4 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. We will have live coverage of Pope Francis's funeral.
President Trump and the First Lady, they are heading to Rome later today to attend that funeral. But the trip comes amid ongoing uncertainty surrounding this trade war with China. Yesterday, the president doubled down on his assertion that his administration was talking to China, despite Beijing earlier insisting that no talks were taking place.
Well, they had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later, but they had meetings this morning, and we've been meeting with China.
NBC News White House correspondent Von Hilliard joins us on this now. Von, great to see you. So this back and forth over this trade dispute with China continues after the Trump administration had signaled this softer stance earlier this week. Where do things stand right now, not just with China, but with efforts overall to strike trade deals with other countries?
Right, Savannah. Let's just start with the baseline, that these negotiations would be intense. Essentially, you have an embargo between the United States and China right now with 145% tariff on Chinese goods coming to the U.S., 125% tariff on U.S. goods going to China. That is just an insane amount of money that would be required to bring products into either country. And now this gets to where are these negotiations? Well, the two sides can't even agree, Savannah, on whether they are talking or not. And I say that because over the last 48 hours, as you noted, there's been great back and forth. And literally just this morning, China has put out a statement saying China and the U.S. are not, in all caps, having any consultation or negotiation on hashtag tariffs. The U.S. should stop creating confusion. Well, just a few minutes ago, Time magazine published an interview with President Trump, who says that he has had a direct conversation with President Xi, who called him. And so I think you could say we're in the early stages of negotiations, if negotiations are taking place at all. As for other countries, the U.S. continues to facilitate conversations with Vietnam and with Japan. Yet at the same time, there has not been an apparent deal struck, despite in that same Time magazine interview, the president contending that he has already come up with 200 deals. He did not provide a single example of one of those deals, though, Savannah.
Obviously, so much to keep following here, and so many Americans are concerned just about the price of goods, empty shelves, that kind of thing. We know you'll stay on it for us, Vaughn. I do want to ask you about something else here. We just learned yesterday that the Trump administration is urging the Supreme Court to allow it to enforce a ban on transgender service members in the military. What can you tell us here?
Right. It was a federal judge out west that placed an injunction finding on the ban of transgender individuals from serving in the military. And effectively, the appeals court in this case sided with that federal district judge. And now the Trump administration is taking this to the Supreme Court to allow their ban to move forward. That federal district judge in the state of Washington found that the administration failed to provide evidence, the judge said, of why it was necessary to ban transgender individuals. At the same time, the Solicitor General for the Trump administration is planning to argue in front of the Supreme Court that deference should be given to military leaders in terms of judgment of what best policies should be implemented to effectively use the U.S. military in the most effective manner. We could expect the Supreme Court to potentially take up this case. This would be a big battle here between the two sides.
Absolutely. Von Hilliard covering a lot for us. Thank you so much.
President Trump is now lashing out at Russia just a day after accusing Ukraine's president of derailing peace talks. Mr. Trump criticized President Putin yesterday after Russia unleashed its deadliest attack on Ukraine in months. In a post, Mr. Trump addressed the Russian leader by his first name, urging him to stop, calling the attack, quote, not necessary and very bad timing. At least 12 people were killed Thursday when Russia launched 70 missiles and 140 drones at Kyiv. It happened just hours after President Trump had said a deal to end the war was very close. NBC News reporter Matt Bodner joins us now from London with the latest. So, Matt, President Trump says he believes both sides are going to reach an agreement, but it doesn't look that way. I mean, are these U.S. negotiations making any progress?
Well, Joe, as you said, it certainly doesn't look like it, at least as things stand now. So earlier this week, we saw talks set to take place here in London collapse at essentially the last minute. That was followed by yet another round of President Trump taking shots at President Zelensky, characterizing him as the problem after the Ukrainian president reiterated that he will not accept the recognition of Crimea. Now, Trump appears to be directing his ire at this point at Russian President Vladimir Putin following those strikes on Kyiv, and he's saying it's time to make a deal. And that is essentially the White House message now. They don't seem all that concerned with the details. They just want to say they've made a deal to end the fighting. And Trump himself seems to be optimistic he can still achieve that. Take a listen to this.
I have my own deadline. And we want it to be fast. And after that, we're going to have a very much different attitude. But I think that has a very good chance of getting done.
Now, given that there are a lot of questions about various contested and occupied territories as part of these talks, it's very hard to see how any meaningful agreement can be achieved on Trump's deadline. Yeah,
and President Zelensky has implied he just doesn't think the U.S. is putting enough pressure on Russia. So we know U.S. officials do plan to go to Moscow this week, speak directly with President Putin. What's expected to come from those talks?
So the Kremlin has been very vague about these talks, but we do understand Steve Witkoff's plane has arrived in Moscow, and he's meeting with President Putin today. There has been some suggestion that Putin is willing to give up claims on Ukrainian territory that he doesn't actually physically control at this time. But the Kremlin can be pursuing that tack, if they really are, to appear to be making concessions that convince Trump to recognize their claim on Crimea. And based on how things have gone so far, there is every chance that Putin can sell Witkoff on this. That said, given the rhetorical developments on Trump's end over the past 24 hours, Witkoff may actually be pushing for a meaningful ceasefire today.
Let's talk more about Crimea. Obviously, a major sticking point for both sides. We know what Zelensky thinks. We know what Trump thinks. Just what do everyday Ukrainians think about this issue?
Well, this is a great and important question, Joe. I was actually speaking last night to a woman named Lena, and she is a Crimean Tatar living in Kyiv, and that is a community that has been largely displaced by the Russian occupation of the peninsula. And I was asking her, what do Ukrainians think of Trump's proposal? She asked that we don't share her last name. She still has family living in Crimea. But take a listen to what she had to say on this.
This volunteering organization making ghillie suits for the defenders. I was listening to these ladies, and they said they were discussing this Trump Crimea situation, and they say, of course, Zelensky would refuse this offer. Even if he would agree to that terms, people in Ukraine would kill him.
Examples like this, I think, show us that not only is Zelensky bound by the Ukrainian constitution, but also public opinion. It's hard to see Ukraine ever accepting this element of Trump's deal. Joe?
Matt Bodner. Matt, thank you so much.
Well, this morning we've got a look at a new NBC News Stay Tuned poll powered by SurveyMonkey that we're rolling out over the next couple days. We focused on a broad range of issues, from the economy to due process protections, even traditional gender roles, to see how members of Gen Z feel about where we are at right now as a country. Take a listen.
25-year-old Claire Joseph is living with her parents to make ends meet.
I can't even afford to rent a place in this area, let alone own anything.
A new NBC News Stay Tuned poll powered by SurveyMonkey shows many young people share her struggles, and 69% of Gen Z poll participants said they disapprove of President Trump's handling of inflation and the cost of living.
I just see my friends running through their savings.
Another area of broad agreement for 18 to 29-year-olds, due process protections for those in the U.S. on a student visa or green card, with 92% of Gen Z saying it's important they're the same as those of U.S. citizens, the highest of any generation polled. 25-year-old Corinne Paulman is not surprised by that number.
I think they should absolutely have the same due process rights as any American.
What do you think the grounds should be for revoking someone's student visa?
Gosh, murder, assault, but not speaking your mind.
23-year-old Jalen Hurt says he also supports due process protections, but thinks some deportations are justified.
I believe if someone is openly expressing hate and violence against the administration or just against the country they're in, I feel like that should revoke the visa.
One of the biggest takeaways, the divide between genders. Asked if America would be stronger if more women held traditional gender roles. Just 26% of young women agreed, compared with 41% of Gen Z men.
Now, I don't want to be perceived as a homemaker. I want to be perceived as me. I'm Corinne.
Do you think that America would be stronger if more women held traditional gender roles?
Oh, 100%. I believe traditional gender roles strengthens the family.
There was also a stark divide between genders on the question of whether they're proud to be American. 41% of Gen Z women said they're not proud, compared to 22% of young men.
Are you proud to be an American?
I am.
But our poll revealed overall, pride is strongest among the oldest Americans and grows weaker with each younger generation.
Are you proud to be an American?
I think that's a complicated answer. I am not proud of what the country is doing right now or the direction we're going. I'm proud of the people who are standing up for it.
So obviously divides among generation, but also among genders. That's something that we saw heading into the election. And again, right now, and it wasn't just on those traditional gender roles, it was actually a lot of different issues. And we've also started to see, which we talked about before, also this creep with young men towards the conservative side of things.
Which was a huge factor on election
Yeah,
which we saw a lot of them following Joe Rogan and many of those conservative podcasts. All right, moving on now. The man accused of killing the CEO of United Healthcare is going to be back in court later today.
26-year-old Luigi Mangione will be arraigned on federal charges, including murder and stalking. Overnight, prosecutors filed an official notice that they will be seeking the death penalty. Mangione also faces state charges in New York and Pennsylvania. He has pleaded not guilty in New York.
For more on what we can expect during today's hearing, let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos. All right, so he was indicted last week by this federal grand jury in Manhattan on 4 charges. That includes murder through the use of a firearm. We sort of talked about how they had to kind of find a charge that made this sort of a federal case. Talk about that and just what we can expect at the arraignment today.
Arraignments in federal court and in state court are usually not very exciting, but they're important because they're kind of a kickoff to the case. They start a lot of different timelines. The judge will set motion dates and other calendar dates so we can get a real expectation of how long the case will last. And I say that with an asterisk because in large, complicated cases, you can usually expect that there's going to be some kind of continuance requested, and they'll push out those trial dates, especially in this case, because they've already pushed out the indictment and arraignment itself far beyond what you'd normally expect in a federal case. But he'll enter a plea today formally. He could have the indictment read to him. He will waive that reading of the indictment. That would take way too long, and he's got counsel. He doesn't need the indictment read to him. So should be a pretty quick affair.
Danny, how common is it for prosecutors to seek the death penalty in cases like this?
In federal firearm murder cases, I am not even aware of another case where the federal government has sought the death penalty under this subsection of the statute, which is murder through use of a firearm. And I think the defense actually has a strong moral argument that this is not a federal case that should have been brought. Now, you may sit back and say, this Mangione sounds like a terrible guy. Why not charge him in New York state court and federal court? That's not how it works. The defense has raised the very good point that this is a prosecution in state court that adequately vindicates any federal interests that there may be. When you think about it, this is a rarely used piece of the statute because firearm murder is something that happens 15,000 times a year. And you don't see 15,000 federal capital prosecutions for murder with a firearm. We live in a city with plenty of murders using a firearm, and so does everybody across the United States. This is an example of what the federal government, the federal prosecutors do. To an extent, they're designed to cherry pick. They scoop the cream off the top, and they pick the cases they like the best.
So there's a lot going on right now. You've got a case in New York where he's pleaded not guilty. Also, you have Pennsylvania. Then you have the federal case. Explain how these things all happen at the same time. Can some of the state cases influence the federal case or vice versa?
Yes, yes and no. To some degree, the state court case, and this is a little unusual, the New York State case, they got jurisdiction over him first. They got the body first. And the usual rule is that the jurisdiction that gets him first gets to prosecute him first. But I believe prosecutors on the state and federal level are working together to some degree for planning and scheduling purposes. So you can expect the federal case will happen, the trial will happen much after the state court case. The Pennsylvania case, I wouldn't be surprised if that just waits around till all the cases are finished. But in theory, Pennsylvania could say, hey, you know what? We got him first. And in fact, Pennsylvania could have said, we're not even giving him back to New York. We're going to hold on to him. We got him first. We have these charges. But that's an example of states and federal authorities working together to plan out prosecution, a complex prosecution in 3 different jurisdictions.
All right, Danny, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, the man who opened fire at a 4th of July parade nearly 3 years ago near Chicago will spend the rest of his life behind bars. A judge sentenced Robert Crimo III yesterday to life in prison with no possibility of parole. The 24-year-old killed 7 people, injuring more than 50 others back in 2022. Well, in March, he unexpectedly pleaded guilty to 69 counts of murder and attempted murder. Crimo declined to show up at his 2-day sentencing hearing that began on Wednesday. More than a dozen people shared emotional testimony of the horror they experienced that day.
A 19-year-old in New Jersey is now charged with starting a wildfire that has scorched more than 15,000 acres. Joseph Kling faces arson charges. He's accused of setting wooden pallets on fire, then leaving without properly extinguishing them. Prosecutors say that sparked a fire known as the Jones Road wildfire, which destroyed a commercial building and forced thousands to evacuate. Authorities call it one of the most dangerous fires New Jersey has seen in decades. Kling is set to appear in court next week for a detention hearing.
All right, well, after a string of warm, dry days, a cold front will be moving toward the East Coast today, triggering showers and some thunderstorms from the Ohio Valley to the Gulf Coast just in time for the weekend.
There you go. Let's get a closer look with your Morning News Now forecast. Angie Lastman's here. Angie, good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Savannah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Just in time for the weekend. Unfortunately, yes, it's going to be a little unsettled. It's not going to be the entire weekend for everybody. So let's get you some of those details so you can make those plans. This morning, we're waking up dry for most of us across the West, but notice how unsettled we are, really from the Gulf Coast stretching up to the Midwest. We've got this storm system that's working its way east, and this is what's going to kind of trigger some of that more active weather here as we get through the day today and specifically into your Saturday. Here's where we're expecting the storms to kind of erupt today. It's the Great Lakes stretching down to the southeast. So Knoxville, Cincinnati, Detroit, even folks across parts of the Appalachians will see some of that. The good news is the severe risk across this region, it's quite low. The bad news is we could see some of those really heavy downpours, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do get some localized flooding happening across this region through the day today. Tomorrow, notice what happens, especially for the first half of the day. We've got the soggy conditions in place across the Northeast, specifically New York, Boston. You'll wake up to some wet weather, and then we'll have kind of those occasional showers and storms sticking with us for the first half of the day. This system's going to move offshore and take most of the heavy rain with it by the time we get into the second half of your Saturday. Unfortunately, though, we're not going to rebound to those really nice spring-like temperatures all that fast. We're going to see cooler conditions and breezier conditions settle in for the afternoon hours of your Saturday. And then we really start to see some improvements by the time Sunday rolls around. As far as the severe threat goes this afternoon, we're still going to keep it across parts of the southern plains. It's been quite active over the past few weeks, past week or so, I should say, for the central and southern plains. Today is no different. Parts of Oklahoma, Texas, and New Mexico will see the chance for some of that damaging hail specifically. That's the biggest threat concern, but also maybe an isolated tornado, and we could see some of that damaging wind too. Big picture, look for your rainfall amounts, 1 inch to 2 inches, especially the farther north you go, up across parts of New England. Again, some localized flooding will be a concern across that region, but really it's the southern plains who've had just kind of these repeated rounds of some heavy rain that we'll see here lasting through at least the next couple of days, guys. Temperature-wise, we'll see those mild conditions last for most of the east, at least for today.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.